What up everyone, Kairos Maggie here and welcome back to my channel where I encourage you to submerge yourself in culture and live meaningful lives. Dating for me has always been something that has just given me anxiety, and the reason for that is because I just always fear the reaction people will have, especially when they know about my cultural background. Now, it's not because I have any sort of embarrassment for it. I am very, very proud of it. But it's just that initial reaction I know I might get that will then make me see the person in a different light. And then that could possibly be a friendship or a relationship that is just completely ruined. So I've spoken about my cultural background a couple of times on my channel before. So for those of you who are new here watching me for the first time, both of my parents are Haitian, and although I was born in Guyana, I was raised Haitian but also raised around the Jamaican culture because that's where I spent most of my life. Because I grew up and saw a lot of the prejudice that my parents went through being Haitians, I knew for a fact that whoever I would date and eventually go on to marry and whatever the case might be had to be someone who would respect my culture, but also their family would also have to be accepting and respectful of my culture as well. I am someone who's very much all about family, super family oriented, because I come from a family who is like that. So for me, it really mattered that whoever I was dating, that their family would also be accepting of me, because I don't think I could survive with dating someone where they have my family support, but then I don't have their family support. Like that just, it's just not gonna work out at all. So I don't want to repeat too many things that I've said in previous videos, so I'm just going to link this playlist that you can watch right here if you want to check it out. But to recap, pretty much when I grew up, I would be teased a lot because of my Haitian background, and the reason for that is because what a lot of people would be seen portrayed to them about Haiti was all the negative stuff. So the concept of that everyone in Haiti practices voodoo, for example, and that we're poor and that we eat mud cake and all the natural disasters that come our way and that we're cursed. Like all these different things are what I basically would be teased about. So even at times it would be difficult to make friends and have those friendships last. I had situations where people who I thought were my friend, as soon as they wanted to, look a certain way in front of like a group of people they're trying to please, they would automatically go towards the card of, telling me go back on my banana boat just to be mean. And, because they're trying to please people around them, right? It was mean. There were times that I did take it to heart, but over time, I developed such a thick skin that I am so proud in my Haitian culture that it's not something I'm embarrassed about, which is why it means so much to me in communicating that with whoever wants to pursue me. So I don't know that much about the Haitian culture because it's very different when you actually grow up in the country versus, being raised that way. So although I am a bit, fluent in Haitian Creole, my mother always made sure that we would get mix of food, including my cultural food from Guyana, some from Jamaica, but also from Haiti, just so we're, in tune with our culture in that way. Those are the ways I would say I have a connection to my Haitian culture. I do want to, however, be more in tune, to learn a bit more things, which I am currently on a journey to do. And recently, I also gave myself the opportunity to learn a bit more about a very big part of the Haitian history, which would be the Haitian Revolution. If you want to check out that video in its depth, then you can click the eye icon right here to check that out. So one thing I'll say is I don't expect anyone that I'm dating to, be someone who they want to also speak Haitian Creole. They have to eat the food, all of those things. That's not what I'm saying. There's a complete difference between, respecting someone's culture and then, actually delving into it like super deeply. So I expect them to just be open-minded. So if I am talking, Haitian Creole with my parents, like, not putting me down for talking the native language or not being afraid to try foods, and if you do, like not calling my food gross or nasty. Sometimes people will do that when they're not familiar with a kind of food just because of the appearance. So they don't have to like the food per se, but they should be open to trying it, because you don't know if you like something unless you have tried it. Because my parents are such important people in my life, and just the Haitian influence, it also impacts some of the ways that I think and my upbringing, my beliefs, my morals, all those things, it's going to be very, very important for me that I have someone who is equally yoked. Now, as I said, they don't have to be Haitian, they don't have to be of the same culture, they could be of a similar culture, or they are just respectful of that. Once they are, we are good to go. Now we know we have some countries that if you're from that country, a lot of people will gravitate more to you. They'll definitely want to date you because of positive stereotypes that you have associated to your country. Great, kudos for you. Dating won't be so much of a headache for you. By the way, I did make a video talking about cultural generalization versus cultural stereotypes, which I think is a very big thing that all of us need to know the difference between, because I don't think that some of us realize that in our dating preferences that a lot of our preferences are also really much influenced by stereotypes. So I do encourage you to also watch that video because there's a lot of information that even while researching for it, I learned a lot of things on the way as well. If you can resonate with this video, that definitely when it comes on to dating, you feel like people need to respect your culture. They don't have to identify or agree with every single aspect of it, because there aren't necessarily everything within the culture that I agree with. Culture as we know it is really and simple. The definition of it is it's a way of life. And if you're going to decide to be with someone, whether it's a short-term relationship that turns into a long-term, however long it lasts, you want anyone that you're with to, enhance your livelihood, not make you feel guilty for who you are, and pretty much be respectful of that. Because when you're happy about who you are and you're with someone who just amplifies that, then life is going to be great even if you go through ups and downs. So I guess that's what I'm pretty much saying in a nutshell. So I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section, what are deal breakers for you, that if you are dating someone who's not necessarily a part of your culture, what would be some deal breakers for you when you're thinking about dating? Let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to do road and do things, and until next time, Maggie is out.